The medical bay doors hissed open, and I felt my scales bristle with anticipation. 3 cycles had passed since the human vessel crash-landed on Meridian Station, and finally, the quarantine protocols had been lifted. As chief medical officer of the station, I had examined thousands of species from across the galaxy. But humans? They were new, rare, and according to the initial scans, utterly fascinating. Dr. Calith, my assistant Vorna chirped, her 4 eyes blinking in rapid succession. The human female has regained consciousness. Her vital signs are stable, though I must say, they make absolutely no sense. I slithered toward the observation window, my serpentine body coiling with curiosity. Explain. Well, Vorna pulled up the holographic display, her tentacles dancing across the controls. Her bone density reads like reinforced titanium, yet her external appearance suggests she weighs no more than 60 kilograms. Her muscle fiber composition is unlike anything in our database. And, get this, her cellular regeneration rate is off the charts. The fractures she sustained in the crash? Already healing. Through the transparent barrier, I observed the creature. She sat upright on the medical platform, her pale skin contrasting sharply against the blue gel mattress. Long amber hair cascaded down her shoulders, and those strange bilateral eyes scanned the room with an intensity that made me uncomfortable. She looked delicate, fragile, even, like a piece of porcelain art from the Tuluvian markets. She appears harmless, I mused, adjusting my medical visor. Vorna made a sound that resembled a laugh. That is what the initial assessment team thought too. Then she woke up during transport. And? She bent the gurney's restraint bars, accidentally, while yawning. I turned to stare at my assistant. You are joking. I wish I were. We have it on security footage. The metallurgical team is still trying to figure out how she did it. Those bars are designed to hold a full-grown Craxian. They can lift cargo shuttles. Before I could respond, the human moved. She swung her legs off the platform, bare feet touching the floor with a soft pat. Nothing remarkable, nothing threatening, just a simple motion. Then she stood up. The entire station shuddered. Not metaphorically. The floor beneath her feet cracked, spider webbing outward in jagged lines. The vibration traveled through the deck plating, rattling equipment, causing alarms to shriek their warnings. Emergency lighting flickered. Somewhere in the distance, I heard the sound of glass shattering. What in the name of the Galactic Council? I breathed, pressing closer to the window. The human looked down at the damaged floor, then up at us. She smiled. Actually smiled. As if breaking a space station's infrastructure with her body weight was amusing. She said, her voice carrying through the intercom. The universal translator caught the word, though it struggled with the tone. Was that embarrassment? Amusement? Both? Vorna was already at the control panel, her tentacles moving faster than I had ever seen. Structural integrity, holding at 73% in that section. Gravity plating beneath her is stressed but functional. How is this possible? She should not weigh more than any standard humanoid species. Run a deep scan, I ordered, my analytical mind racing. Full spectrum. I want to know what we are dealing with. The human, apparently unconcerned with the chaos she had just caused, began walking toward the observation window. Each step produced a subtle but distinct tremor. Not enough to trigger the seismic sensors, but enough that everyone in the medical bay could feel it through their feet, their scales, their various sensory appendages. She stopped directly in front of me, only the transparent barrier separating us. Up close, she was even more paradoxical. Those eyes held intelligence, curiosity, and something else. Something that made my survival instincts scream warnings my conscious mind refused to acknowledge. "Hi," she said, waving one small hand. "I'm Kira. Sorry about your floor. And probably your walls. And whatever else I broke. This happens sometimes when I wake up in new gravity." The translator provided her words, but I was fixated on the scan results appearing on Vorna's display. The numbers made no sense. None whatsoever. "Vorna," I said slowly, "are you certain the scanners are functioning correctly? I have run diagnostics 3 times. Everything is working perfectly." "Then explain to me how this creature, who appears to mass 60 kilograms, actually masses 847 kilograms? Silence. Even Vorna, who always had a response, said nothing. Kira tilted her head, that unsettling smile still on her face. "Oh, you figured that out already?" "Yeah, humans are dense. Like, really dense. It is a whole evolution thing. Our home world has crazy gravity. About 9 times what you have here, actually." 9 times. "That is impossible," I said flatly. "No biological organism can survive in that environment. The atmospheric pressure alone would crush most species. The gravitational force would compress organs, rupture cellular structures." "Would it?" Kira asked, genuine curiosity in her voice. "Huh. Good thing we evolved there then, I guess." Vorna pulled up another display. "Dr. Calith, this explains the bone density. And the muscle composition. If she comes from a high-gravity world, her entire physiology would need to be reinforced just to function. But 9 times standard? That is beyond any documented case." "It is absurd," I muttered. "She should be a compressed cube of organic matter, not walking around like she weighs nothing." "To be fair," Kira interjected, "your gravity feels like nothing to me. It is kind of nice, actually, like floating. Although I have to be really careful not to jump too hard. Last time I did that on a low-grav station, I ended up stuck to the ceiling for 2 hours. I stared at her. This fragile-looking creature, who could apparently jump with enough force to bypass artificial gravity, was making jokes. Making jokes. "Miss Kira," I said, forcing my voice to remain professional, "I need you to understand something. This station was not designed for someone with your mass. Every step you take puts stress on infrastructure that was calculated for species within standard parameters. If you move too quickly, you could cause catastrophic structural failure." She nodded seriously. "I get it. I will be careful. Promise." "How careful can you possibly be?" Vorna asked, not unkindly. "Your mere presence alters our gravity sensors." "Well," Kira said thoughtfully, "I could try walking on my toes? That sometimes helps distribute the weight differently. Or I could just kind of glide. Like this." She demonstrated, moving across the room with an eerie grace. Her feet barely touched the ground, yet each contact point still produced those telltale cracks. She was trying. I could see that. But physics did not care about effort. "Stop!" I commanded. "Please, just stop moving." Kira froze mid-step, balanced perfectly on one foot, showing 0 strain, 0 effort, as if defying gravity was as natural as breathing. "How long can you hold that position?" Vorna asked, scientific curiosity overwhelming her concern. Kira shrugged, the motion causing her entire body to shift, yet she remained perfectly balanced. "I don't know. Hours? Days? Gravity this week does not really tire me out." "Days," I repeated. "You can stand on one leg for days." "Sure. Why not?" "Why not?" she asked, as if the muscular endurance required for such a feat was trivial, as if the balance necessary was something anyone could achieve. I turned to Vorna. "Contact engineering. We need reinforced flooring in every section this human will access, and increase the localized gravity field around her, to at least 3 times standard. Maybe that will help." "On it," Vorna replied, already sending the requests. Kira lowered her foot, and another crack echoed through the bay. "You really don't have to go through all that trouble for me. I can just stay in one spot, if it is easier." "That is not a solution," I said, perhaps more sharply than intended. "You are a guest on this station. You deserve freedom of movement." We simply need to adapt our environment to accommodate you." "That is really nice of you," Kira said, and I detected genuine warmth in her tone. "Most species I have met are either terrified of humans or want to study us like lab specimens." "Oh, I absolutely want to study you," I admitted. "But I also want to ensure you are comfortable, and that my station remains intact." She laughed. The sound was pleasant, musical even. "Fair enough. So, what happened?" "The last thing I remember was my ship getting caught in some kind of spatial anomaly. Then, alarms. Then, nothing." "Your vessel suffered catastrophic hull failure," I explained, pulling up the incident report. "You were fortunate. The anomaly spat you out within range of our tractor beams. We were able to retrieve your escape pod before life support failed." "My crew?" The shift in her voice was immediate. The levity vanished, replaced by something cold and focused. Her posture changed subtly, and I suddenly understood why my instincts had been warning me. This was a predator. A very, very dangerous predator who had been playing nice. "We detected no other pods," I said gently. "I am sorry." Kira closed her eyes, and I watched as she took a deep breath. The floor beneath her groaned as her body tensed, muscle compressing, mass concentrating. Then she released the breath, and the tension with it. "They were good people," she said quietly. "Damn it. I truly am sorry for your loss." She nodded, not trusting herself to speak. I gave her a moment, understanding that grief was universal, regardless on the species. Finally, she opened her eyes again. "So what now? I assume I am stuck here until you can arrange transport back to human space?" "That is the plan." "Yes, though it may take some time. Human territory is not exactly close to Meridian Station. We are looking at several weeks, possibly months. Months on a station I might accidentally destroy by walking too enthusiastically," Kira said with a weak smile. "This should be interesting." "Indeed," I agreed. "Vorna, has engineering responded? They say it will take at least 6 cycles to install proper reinforcement. In the meantime, they are asking if the human can possibly remain in the medical bay." Kira looked around the sterile room and grimaced. "No offense, but if I have to stare at these white walls for 6 days, I might go insane." "None taken. I feel the same way and I work here." I considered the options. "There is a cargo bay on the lower level. Section 7. It is designed for heavy equipment storage. The flooring there might be able to handle your mass without immediate failure." "A cargo bay?" Kira raised an eyebrow. "So I go from crash survivor to cargo. That is quite the demotion." "Would you prefer I call it guest quarters with industrial aesthetic?" I asked dryly. She laughed again, and despite everything, I found myself liking this human. Yes, she was dangerous. Yes, her mere existence was a logistical nightmare. But there was something refreshing about her attitude. "Cargo bay it is," she agreed. "Lead the way." Slowly. I slithered toward the door, making sure to keep my pace deliberately slow. Behind me, I heard the telltale sound of cracking floors as Kira followed. Each step a reminder that humanity was not as fragile as they appeared. Vorna fell in beside me, her voice low. "Doctor, are all humans like this?" "I have no idea," I admitted. "This is my first encounter with their species, but if they are, the galaxy is in for quite the surprise. Or quite the disaster. Possibly both." We made our way through the corridors, drawing stares from every crew member we passed. A Tuluvian merchant dropped his container of imported spices. A Vrin engineer's cybernetic implants sparked with surprise. A group of Palaxian traders actually backed against the walls, their fear pheromones filling the air, Kira noticed. "Do I really look that scary?" "You look harmless," I told her honestly. "That is what scares them. They can sense the discrepancy between appearance and reality. Most predator species advertise their danger. You hide yours behind a smile. I am not trying to hide anything. I know, which makes it even more unsettling. We reached the cargo bay without incident, though I noticed several new cracks in the floor plating behind us. The engineering team was going to hate me. The bay doors opened, revealing a massive space filled with storage containers and equipment. The floor here was indeed reinforced, designed to handle the weight of loaded cargo haulers. Kira stepped inside, and while the floor still registered her presence, it held without cracking. Progress. Not bad, she said, looking around. A bit echoey, but I have stayed in worse. Once crashed on a moon that was basically just ice and regret. That sounds unpleasant. It really was. The regret was the worst part. I found myself wanting to hear that story, but duty called. I will have supplies brought down, bedding, food. Do you have any dietary restrictions I should know about? I can eat most things, Kira said. Though I should warn you, human metabolism is pretty intense. I will probably need more food than you are expecting. How much more? Like 4 to 5 times what you would feed a species my size? Of course. Of course she did. I will arrange it, I said, already dreading the supply calculations. As I turned to leave, Kira called out, "Hey, Dr. Caleth?" "Yes?" "Thanks. For not treating me like a monster. Some species do, when they find out what humans can do." I considered her words carefully before responding. "You are not a monster, Kira. You are simply different. And different is what makes the galaxy interesting." Her smile returned, genuine and warm. "I like you, Doc. You are all right." "I like you too," I admitted, "even if you are going to bankrupt my maintenance budget." Her laugh followed me out of the cargo bay, echoing off the metal walls. As the doors sealed behind me, Vorna sidled up beside me. "That went better than expected." "The day is young," I replied. "Something tells me the real excitement has not even started yet." I had no idea how right I was. By the time I returned to my office, reports were already flooding in. Sensors had detected gravitational anomalies throughout the station. Energy consumption had spiked in sections near the cargo bay as systems compensated for the additional mass, and the station commander wanted a full briefing within the hour. "Wonderful," I muttered, settling into my chair. One single human, and the entire station is in upheaval. Vorna pulled up additional data. The science division is requesting permission to interview her. The military liaison wants to assess potential threat levels. And you have about 17 messages from various department heads asking what in the infinite void is going on. Tell them all the same thing. We have a guest from a high-gravity world. She is friendly, she is cooperative, and she weighs as much as a small shuttle. That should go over well. It did not. Within 2 hours, my office was packed with angry, confused, and terrified station personnel. The Vryn security chief insisted on armed guards. The Palaxian trade representative demanded Kira be confined. Even the usually calm Tuluvian diplomats were nervous. I listened to them all, my patience wearing thin. "Enough," I finally said, my voice cutting through the chaos. "Kira is a shipwreck survivor. She has lost her crew. She is stranded far from home. And you all want to treat her like a criminal because she has the audacity to be different? She is dangerous," the security chief insisted. "Her physical capabilities alone make her a threat." "A threat to what?" I challenged. "Our floors? Our doors?" "She has shown nothing but cooperation." "For now," someone muttered. I felt my scales heat with anger. "For now? That is your argument? She might potentially be a problem, so we should assume she is one? By that logic, we should confine half the species on this station." The Palaxian representative stepped forward. "With respect, Doctor, you are not considering the bigger picture. If one human can cause this much disruption, what happens when more arrive? What if they are not as friendly as this Kira?" That gave me pause. It was a valid concern, albeit one rooted in fear rather than logic. Then we adapt, I said firmly. We learn. We build bridges instead of walls. That is what the Galactic Council stands for, is it not? Unity through diversity? Silence. Finally, the station commander spoke. She was a Craxian, massive and intimidating, but fair. Dr. Callith is right, she rumbled. We will monitor the situation. We will take precautions. But we will not treat a guest with hostility based on speculation. Dismissed. The crowd dispersed, though many looked unconvinced. The commander stayed behind, her 6 legs clicking on the floor as she approached. You believe this human can be trusted? She asked quietly. I believe she deserves a chance to prove herself, I replied. Beyond that? Time will tell. Fair enough. Keep me informed of any developments. Of course! As she left, Vorna emerged from where she had been hiding behind a filing cabinet. That was intense. That was politics, I corrected. And it is only going to get more complicated. I was not wrong. The next morning, or what passed for morning on a space station that operated on standardized galactic time, began with an emergency alert. I bolted upright in my sleeping chamber, my communicator screeching with urgent priority codes. Vorna's panicked voice crackled through. Doctor, you need to get to Cargo Bay 7 immediately. There has been an incident. My heart sank. What kind of incident? The kind where your human friend is currently holding up a collapsed ceiling section with her bare hands while 3 trapped maintenance workers scream for help. I was moving before she finished the sentence, my body flowing through the corridors at maximum speed. My mind raced with possibilities, each worse than the last. Had Kira caused the collapse? Was she hurt? Were the workers injured? I arrived to find absolute pandemonium. Security personnel formed a perimeter around the cargo bay entrance, weapons drawn, but clearly uncertain what to do. Engineers argued loudly about load-bearing calculations. And through the open doorway, I could see Kira standing completely still, arms raised above her head, supporting what looked like several tons of twisted metal and composite materials. Move aside, I commanded, pushing through the crowd. Inside the bay, the situation was exactly as Vorna described. A massive section of the upper infrastructure had given way, likely weakened by yesterday's gravitational stress. 3 Vrin maintenance workers huddled beneath the makeshift shelter of Kira's arms, their optical sensors wide with terror. Kira's face was calm, focused. Not a trace of strain, despite the impossible weight she bore. Good morning, Doc, she said conversationally. Sorry about this. I sneezed. You sneezed. Yeah. Turns out my sneezes in low gravity are kind of explosive. Hit the support column over there. Then everything started coming down, and these guys were right underneath, so I just kind of caught it. You caught a collapsing ceiling. Seemed like the thing to do at the time. One of the trapped Vrin whimpered. Please tell me you have a plan to get us out of here. I activated my communicator. Engineering. I need support beams and magnetic lifters in Cargo Bay 7. Now. Already on our way, came the response. ETA 4 minutes. 4 minutes of Kira holding several tons above her head. I studied her carefully, looking for any sign of fatigue. Her breathing was steady. Her muscles showed no tremors. She might as well have been holding a feather. How long can you maintain this? I asked. Honestly, I could probably do this all day. The weight is not the issue. I am more worried about accidentally crushing the ceiling if I grip too hard. It is kind of fragile. Fragile. She called reinforced station infrastructure fragile. Just hold steady, I said. Help is coming. The engineering team arrived exactly 3 minutes and 47 seconds later, hauling portable support structures. They worked with impressive efficiency, sliding beams into place, activating magnetic clamps, creating a framework independent of Kira's strength. Ready? The lead engineer called. On 3, we engage full support. You can let go. Got it, Kira acknowledged. 1, 2, 3. The machinery hummed to life. Slowly, carefully, Kira lowered her arms. The ceiling section settled onto the support beams with a groan of stressed metal, but it held. The Vryn workers scrambled out from beneath it, babbling their thanks in overlapping frequencies. Kira rolled her shoulders, the motion casual and relaxed. Well, that was exciting. Anyone hurt? Only our pride, one of the Vryn admitted, and possibly our understanding of physics. Physics is more like guidelines anyway, Kira said with a grin. I approached her, scanning her with my medical tricorder out of habit. You are completely unharmed. Why would I be harmed? Because you just supported enough weight to crush most species into paste. Oh, right. Yeah, that would not really bother me. I mean, it would be uncomfortable if I had to do it for like a week straight, but a few minutes? No big deal. The security chief, who had witnessed the entire event, lowered his weapon. His expression had shifted from suspicion to something closer to awe. I owe you an apology, he said gruffly. Yesterday I called you a threat. Today you saved my crew members without hesitation. That was honorable. Kira's smile softened. Hey, no worries. I get it. I am kind of a walking disaster zone. But I try to make it a helpful walking disaster zone. Still, he continued, you have my respect. And my gratitude. Other security personnel echoed the sentiment. Even some of the engineers who had been most vocal about confining her looked sheepish. The lead engineer approached, her scanning equipment beeping frantically. Miss Kira, I need to ask you something purely from a scientific standpoint. Sure, go ahead. That ceiling section masses approximately 12,000 kilograms. You supported it for nearly 4 minutes without mechanical assistance. Can you explain how that is physiologically possible? Kira shrugged. Evolution is wild. My planet, Earth, has insane gravity. Everything there adapted to survive in those conditions. Humans ended up really strong and really dense, because otherwise we would just be puddles of organic goo on the ground. But 12,000 kilograms, the engineer pressed. That exceeds even our most optimistic calculations for biological strength. What can I say? Humans are built different. Also, I work out. Lots of resistance training back home. You kind of have to when your gym equipment includes things like small boulders. The engineer looked like her brain might short-circuit. Small boulders. You lift boulders for exercise. I mean, we call them weights, but yeah, basically boulders. I intervened before the engineer had an existential crisis. Perhaps we should focus on repairs and safety protocols for now. Miss Kira, I think it would be best if you stayed in medical observation for the time being. Am I in trouble? You saved 3 lives. You are the opposite of in trouble. But clearly this cargo bay is not equipped to handle you, and I would rather not risk another structural failure. Fair point, Kira conceded. Though I should mention, I am going to go crazy if I am stuck in a small room with nothing to do. Vorna, who had been observing from a safe distance, perked up. The observation deck has reinforced viewing platforms. You could stay there. It has a beautiful view of the nebula. That actually sounds nice, Kira said, as long as I am not putting anyone at risk. The platforms were designed for Craxian tourists, I explained. They mass considerably more than you. It should be safe. Should be, Kira repeated with amusement. The words every engineer loves to hear. 2 hours later, after extensive safety checks and some creative reallocation of resources, we had Kira settled in the observation deck. The space was enormous, with transparent aluminum panels offering stunning views of the surrounding cosmos. A nearby supernova remnant painted the void in shades of purple and gold. Kira stood at the viewing platform, her hands pressed gently against the transparent surface, staring out with an expression of wonder. It is beautiful, she whispered. I had positioned myself nearby, ostensibly to monitor her condition, but truthfully, because I found her reactions fascinating. For all her physical power, she possessed a gentleness that seemed contradictory. Do you miss home? I asked. Every day, she admitted. Earth is loud and chaotic, and kind of tries to kill you constantly, but it is home. The gravity feels right. The air tastes right. Even the stupid mosquitoes feel right. Mosquitoes? Tiny flying bloodsuckers. Absolutely awful. I miss them terribly. I filed away that paradox for later analysis. What will you do when you return? Honestly? I do not know. My crew is gone. My ship is scrap. I will have to file reports, attend memorials, figure out my next assignment. She paused. Maybe take some time off. Visit my family. Hug my little sister until she complains. You have a sister? Yeah, Mira. She is a pilot too. Way better than me, if I am being honest. She can thread a shuttle through an asteroid field like it is nothing. Me? I crash into spatial anomalies. That was not your fault. I know, but it still happened. She turned to face me. Can I ask you something, Doc? Of course. Why are you being so nice to me? Most species I have encountered treat humans like either weapons or freaks. You treat me like a person. I considered the question carefully. Because that is what you are. A person. Yes, you are different. Yes, you present unique challenges. But beneath all that, you are someone trying to do right by others. That deserves respect. Her eyes glistened slightly. Thank you. That means more than you know. Before I could respond, alarms shrieked throughout the station. Red emergency lighting bathed the observation deck. All personnel to emergency stations. The commander's voice boomed over the intercom. We have incoming hostile vessels. Raider class. Multiple signatures. This is not a drill. Kira's demeanor changed instantly. The gentle wonderment vanished, replaced by sharp focus. Raiders? Here? Meridian Station is wealthy, I explained, already moving toward the exit. We see raids every few cycles. Our defenses are adequate, but it is still dangerous. How many ships? The sensors detected at least 6. And your defenses? 2 patrol corvettes, various automated weapon platforms. We have never lost a station defense action, but it gets close sometimes. Kira stared out at space, watching as distant shapes materialized from faster-than-light travel. 6 raiders versus 2 defenders. Those are not great odds. No, I agreed. They are not. She looked at me, and I saw calculation in her eyes. Doc, I have an idea. You are probably going to think it is insane. After the past 2 days, my threshold for insane has increased considerably. Fair. Okay, here it is. Put me in a spacesuit and launch me at the raiders. I stared at her. I am sorry. What? Launch me at them. I am dense enough that I can probably punch through their hulls, or at least damage them enough to make them retreat. That is suicide. You would be exposed to vacuum, weapons fire, and kinetic impacts. Human spacesuits are really, really good. And I have survived worse. Trust me. No. Absolutely not. I will not allow you to throw yourself into danger. Doctor, she said, her voice gentle but firm, people are going to die if those raiders board this station. I can help. I have to help. You do not owe us anything. Maybe not. But I owe those 3 maintenance workers I saved earlier. And I owe you for treating me with kindness. Let me do this. I wanted to refuse. Every instinct screamed that this was madness, but I looked into her eyes and saw determination that would not be swayed. I will ask the commander, I said reluctantly. But I make no promises. The commander's response was immediate and predictable. Absolutely not. We stood in the command center, watching as the raider vessels approached. Proximity alarms wailed. Crew members scrambled to their stations. She could make a difference, I argued. Or she could die horribly in the void, and I will have that on my conscience. Kira, who had accompanied us despite protests, spoke up. Ma'am, with respect, I know the risks. I am a trained combat pilot. I have done boarding actions before. This is not that different. It is completely different, the commander shot back. You are talking about using your body as a projectile. I am talking about using my body as a weapon. There is a distinction. The tactical officer interrupted. Commander, Raiders are launching boarding pods. ETA 2, Station Hull, 6 minutes. The commander's mandibles clicked with frustration. Fine. But if you die, I am listing it as suicide in my report. Fair enough, Kira agreed. What followed was the most absurd preparation sequence I had ever witnessed. Engineering frantically modified a heavy cargo suit to fit Kira's proportions. The launch technicians calculated trajectories that accounted for her unusual mass. And medical staff, myself included, provided every emergency stimulant and trauma suppressant we possessed. This is insane, Vorna muttered, helping seal Kira's helmet. Yep, Kira agreed cheerfully. But fun. Insane. The best kind. She walked to the airlock, each step deliberate and controlled. The magnetic launch system hummed to life, designed to fire cargo containers at high velocity for emergency supply runs. Ready? The launch officer asked. Ready, Kira confirmed. Trajectory locked on lead raider vessel. Launching in 3, 2, 1. Launch. The magnetic accelerators fired, and Kira shot into space like a bullet. Through the observation screens, we watched her trajectory. She tumbled slightly, but corrected with bursts from her suit's thrusters. Then, she collided with the lead raider's hull. The impact was catastrophic. Her dense body punched clean through the outer armor, creating a breach that vented atmosphere and crew into space. The raider ship listed wildly, its propulsion systems failing. By the ancestors, the commander breathed. It actually worked. But Kira was not done. She used the raider's hull as a launching point, pushing off with enough force to send her careening toward a second vessel. Another impact. Another breach. The remaining raiders, apparently deciding that whatever was destroying their fleet was not worth the profit, broke off and jumped to faster-than-light travel. Target vessels retreating, Tactical reported, almost disbelief. All remaining raider signatures departing the system. Cheers erupted. Across the command center. Get recovery teams out there, the commander ordered. Find our human missile and bring her home. 20 minutes later, Kira floated back into the station, her suit scored and damaged but intact. Medical teams swarmed her, but she waved them off. I am fine, seriously, just a little bruised. I insisted on a full examination anyway. As I suspected, she had sustained injuries that would hospitalize most species for months. Cracked ribs, muscle tears, radiation exposure. She would be fully healed in 3 days. You are terrifying, I told her honestly. But in a helpful way, she pointed out. Yes, in a very helpful way. The commander entered the medical bay, her imposing form filling the doorway. Kira, human of Earth, you have saved this station and everyone on it. We are in your debt. You do not owe me anything, Kira said. I just did what needed doing. Nevertheless, I am transmitting a formal commendation to human authorities, and I am personally ensuring you receive transport home at our expense, on the fastest vessel available. That is really generous. Thank you. As the commander left, I sat beside Kira's medical bed. You could have died, but I did not. You will not always be this fortunate. Probably not, she agreed. But if I can help people, I will take that risk every time. That is what humans do. We see someone in trouble, and we cannot help ourselves. We have to try to fix it. I understood then what made humans truly dangerous. It was not their strength or their durability. It was their stubborn, irrational, beautiful refusal to abandon others in need. Your species is going to change the galaxy, I said. For better or worse? Yes, I replied. Both. Definitely both. She laughed, and despite everything, I found myself laughing too. 3 weeks later, I stood at the docking port as Kira prepared to board a human transport vessel that had been rerouted to collect her. She looked strange, in her standard uniform, no longer the fragile-appearing crashed survivor. "Take care of yourself, Doc," she said, embracing me carefully. Even with her best efforts, I felt my scales compress slightly. "You as well. Try not to crash into any more anomalies. No promises." As her ship departed, Vorna slithered up beside me. "Are all humans like her?" "I hope so," I said. "The galaxy could use more people willing to catch falling ceilings, or punch through raider ships. Or that." We stood in silence, watching the transport vessel vanish into the starfield. Somewhere out there, humanity waited. A species that looked fragile, but was anything but. A species that could shake the ground with their footsteps and shake the galaxy with their hearts. I found myself looking forward to meeting more of them.